Hello everyone, welcome back to Misostudy, and in this session we are again discussing some important question from the NEET Biology, and in this session we are taking the chapter named as Biomolecules. As the word refers, bio means life and the molecules are the one which generally involved in the formation and onset of the lives and the living beings. Let's start discussing the question one by one and start with the first question. The first question from the biomolecules is the four elements that make up 99% of all elements found in a living systems are option A carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and phosphorus. B is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and phosphorus. D is hydrogen, oxygen, carbon and nitrogen, and D is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and sulfur. As we all know, there are four main elements for the composition of the life, that is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. There are the four major factors named as a carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. They are also known as four big elements of living body. Four big elements of the living body and form the 99% of mass of most cell, including the 99% of the mass of all the cells or most of the cells are formed by these basically four elements, that is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. All these are the lightest elements. All these are the lightest elements that are capable of forming covalent bonds. As we all know, there are various kinds of bonds is there: hydrogen bond, ionic bond, covalent bond, van der Waals interaction. All these we are discussing in the chapters as well. It is known that strength of covalent bond is inversely arranged or proportional to the atomic weight of bonded atoms. When we discuss about the strength of the covalent bonds which is present between the light elements, and the light elements are the four which we are discussing in this chapter, there are the strength of the covalent bonds. The strength of these covalent bonds are inversely arranged according to the atomic weight of the bonded atoms. What kind of bonded atoms are involved in that? According to that weight, the strength of the covalent bond is calculated. According to the discussion, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen, these are the four lightest elements. So even though they are the lightest, but they form the strong covalent bonds between the other atoms and with the functional group. Strong covalent bonds formed by them. So according to the discussion, these atoms are, by forming the covalent bonds, they form the stable compounds, the compounds that are varied in sizes because of the presence of covalent bond and according the involvement of other bonds and involvement of the other functional groups in the bond forming, and they generally vary according to their shape. So they prefer forming in the various shapes. For example, when we discuss only about the carbon constitute more than 50% of dry matter. When we discuss about out of 4 about the carbon, that form 50% of the dry weight, and it is observed that the human body contains 0.5% of hydrogen, 0.5% of hydrogen, 18.5% of carbon, 65% of oxygen, and 3.3% of nitrogen. This was the exact data that generally formed the human body. In the human body formed by the 4 light atoms, name and hydrogen, carbon, oxygen and nitrogen, and all these are arranged by the covalent bonds. Arranged by the covalent bonds that are formed in between and along with the another functional atom and the other atoms. Other atoms like the phosphorus, sulfur, other atoms and the elements present in lesser amount when compared with these 4, that is a hydrogen, carbon, oxygen and nitrogen. So according to the discussion, the right answer for the question is the option which includes carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen, because these four are the major lightest element which composed the human body in the varied ratio mentioned in the discussion. So carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen is the right answer in this case. Let's take the right one in the case, and the right answer is option C, which includes all the 4 light atoms present in the human body. Let's discuss the next question from Biomolecules. The next question is, select the one that is not a terpenoid from following option. First of all, we discuss about what is terpenoid. And there are the various options out there. For example, terpenoids, when we discuss about the terpenoids are the largest and most widespread class of secondary metabolites that is present in plants and lower invertebrates. That are present in plants and lower invertebrates. As we discuss about the terpenoids, that there are used as a therapeutic purposes for the centuries, but in the recent decades they are used as a research purpose or research activity in the isolating and studying new substances. Isolating and studying new substances. The widespread of, when we discuss about the studying and isolating one, and they generally show no sign of abating. No sign of abating. The wide variety of, when we discuss about the terpenoids, the wide variety of biological activities, shown by the terpenoids. Wide biological activities shown by the terpenoids. And according to the knowledge, they generally provide the and helpful in the new molecule investigation. And along with the new molecule investigation, they generally help in the categorize about the partial importance of the terpenoids regarding the pharmacological interesting agents, pharmacological agents, such as there are various examples like the caffistol, like the caviol and cambrine. The next is the cambrine. Next is the texadine. Next is the cannabinoids, and the last one is curcuminoids. So these are the following options in the subcategory and example of terpenoids, which we use as a pharmacological agents. If in the question, according to the NEET point of view, any of the option mentioned in the question, all are the right one only for the partial importance known as a pharmacological agents. So this is the important question from the NEET point of view. And terpenoids is also categorized as the main compounds also for the isolating and categorization of new substances. So this is all about the second question from the NEET point of view from biomolecules. Let's discuss the next question. The next question is, in which of the following groups are all polysaccharides? We all know polysaccharides. Saccharides word we use for the sugars, and poly means many. As discussed in the categorization for the biomolecules related to the carbohydrates, there is a monosaccharides. It means there is a presence of only single unit or single molecule of sugar. Next is the disaccharides too, oligo too few, and poly means many units of sugars. And options are sucrose, glucose and fructose, B maltose, lactose and fructose, C glycogen, sucrose and maltose, D is glycogen, cellulose and starch. When we discuss about the polysaccharides, as I told while studying the question or discussing about the option, polysaccharides are the complex long chain carbohydrates. Which are formed by dehydrate synthesis or polymerization of more than 10 units of monosaccharides. Mono word we use for the single. When we discuss about the poly, let's discuss the word again. Poly means many, and saccharide is the word we use for the sugar. It means polysaccharides is a complex long chain carbohydrate that are generally formed by the dehydrate synthesis or by the polymerization process, in which more than 10 units or near to 10 units of monosaccharides are interrelated and interlinked to form the polysaccharides. There are the examples for the polysaccharides are starch, glycogen and cellulose. All three are the polysaccharides, in which we are discussing one by one. First is about the starch. What is the polysaccharides composition for the starch? That is, starch is a glucan homopolysaccharides. Polysaccharides is further categorized into two types, named as a homo. Homo word means same units, in which same units of sugar are connected with each other to form the polysaccharides. And another word we use for the polysaccharides is heteropolysaccharides, in which many and the variant options of the sugars are joined together to form the polysaccharides, is known as a heteropolysaccharides. Starch is the glucan homopolysaccharides, which is used as a main reserve food of plants, known as a main reserve food of plants. Next is about the glycogen. Glycogen is also glucan homopolysaccharides like the starch, and glycogen is the main reserve food for fungi, animals and some bacteria. Not all bacteria, even in the some bacteria cases. So it is also known as a glycogen is also known as animal starch, also known as a animal starch. When we discuss about the third one, that is cellulose. Cellulose is the structural hexose polysaccharide. Hexose is word we use for the number 6. Pentose for 5. Hexose we use for the 6. Hexose polysaccharide of generally present in plant cell walls. Generally present in the plant cell wall. Also present in some fungi along with some protists. Cellulose is also known as a fibrous glucan homopolysaccharides that are of high tensile strength. high tensile strength. So we discuss about the three main polysaccharides named as starch, which is a reserve food for the plants. Next is a glycogen, which is a reserve food for animals, fungi and some bacteria. And last one is the cellulose, which is act as a structural food items even in the case of plant cell wall that generally help to build the structure even in some fungi and protists, including the starch, glycogen and cellulose. So this is the right answer for the question, and according to the discussion, let's take the right one. The right option for this is option D, which includes all three major polysaccharides named as a glycogen, cellulose and starch. So option D is the right one in this case. Let's discuss the next question. The next question from Biomolecules is parallel and anti-parallel beta-plated sheets occur respectively in option A, keratin and ribonuclease, B, ribonuclease and collagen, C, keratin and fibrinogen of silk, D, none of these. When we discuss about the beta-plated, first we discuss about the beta-plated secondary structure. Beta-plated secondary structure are including two or more polypeptide. Peptide word we use for protein, and poly means many units of protein when get interconnected by hydrogen bonds. Then they form the beta-plated secondary structure. A sheet, after the connection or interconnected by the hydrogen bond, a sheet is produced instead of fiber or rod, also known as a alpha helix. There are the various structural organization for the protein. First is the alpha helix, next is the beta plated, and next according to the tertiary and the quaternary structure there is a variant. Beta plated when the two or more polypeptide get interconnected by the hydrogen bond and form the plate-like a structure, and before that a sheet is produced instead of fiber and rod, that is known as a alpha helix for the protein. So secondary structure, secondary is also written as like this, secondary structure of protein or for protein is also written as pleated sheet or beta pleated sheet or beta plated sheet. When we discuss about the sheet, adjacent strands of polypeptide may run in same direction. If they run in the same direction, then they are known as a parallel beta sheet, and the example of parallel beta sheet is beta carotene. Beta carotene is known as when adjacent strand of polypeptide run in the same direction, and in the next case is when the adjacent strand of polypeptide run in opposite direction. Then it is known as a anti-parallel beta sheet, and the example of this is fibroin of silk. So here we get the two. One is a parallel beta sheet is known as a beta carotene, and next type of beta plated sheet is anti-parallel beta sheet is known as a fibroin of silk. In some cases, single polypeptide may show by alpha helix in some portion, and they bend to form two or more parallel strands with beta plated structures. In other parts. Example is ribonuclease. When we discuss about the collagen, in the collagen, three strands are coiled. Around one another. Three strands are coiled together around one another. That is discussed under the collagen. So according to the discussion, the right answer for the question is option C. That includes the keratin and the fibroin of the silk. As we know, keratin is the beta carotene that show the parallel type of beta plated sheets arrangement, and next is the fibroin of a silk that show the anti-parallel arrangement of beta plated sheets because they are present in the opposite directions. So this is all about for this question. Let's discuss the next question from the biomolecules. Next one is, which one is an amino acid? As we all know, till that is we discuss about the amino acid. That is the basic unit for protein. But in this question, we discuss about the amino acid. Options are pepsine, B proline, C cysteine, and D is rennin. When we discuss about amino acid is any molecule that contains both the groups. First is a amino group that includes C double bond NH. This is the amino group, and the next is the carboxylic group, written as like this. When amino acid is the acid in which amino group and carboxylic group both are present as the functional group, and they join to form the amino acid. Amino acids are related to the amino acids that contains both amino and carboxylic. Both amino is written as NH2, and carboxylic also written as COOH group. So in amino there is also presence of two groups that I name as amino and carboxylic. In amino acid, which generally contain two groups named as amino group and the carboxylic group as a functional group. Amino acid containing amino acids containing a secondary amine group and are also known as amino acids. Secondary amine group also known as amino acids. For example, like proline. Like the major example for amino acids is proline and are also known as an amino acid. Proline is biosynthetically derived amino acid, and that amino acids are derived from L-glutamate, and that generally includes the precursor as a amino acid that is known as a pyrroline, which also have the precursor name as a S1 pyrroline 5-carboxylate. So according to the discussion, the right answer for the question is about the proline, because proline is the only one known as an amino acid which contains two functional group named as the amino group and the carboxyl group. So proline is the right answer for this case, and let's take the right one, that is option B. Proline is the right one in this case. Let's discuss the next question from the biomolecules, that is, which of the following is not a conjugated proteins? Option A peptone, B phosphoprotein, C lipoprotein, and D is chromoprotein. When we discuss about the conjugated proteins, conjugated proteins are the proteins that have known amino prosthetic group, There are several types of conjugated proteins. Example are phosphoprotein, next is lipoprotein, in which there is a arrangement and integration of protein with the lipids or the lipids, and protein when coagulate and conjugate with the phosphate. The next is the chromoprotein. Next one is nucleoprotein, and last one is glycoprotein. All these are categorized as a type for conjugated proteins. In this, the major one is peptone. Peptone is also known as a derived protein, not a conjugated protein. Conjugated protein is the protein type in which protein is attached with the known amino prosthetic group. So when we discuss about the derived proteins, that is the categorization type is peptone. Derived proteins are obtained from proteins through the process of denaturation, Next is conjugation and breakdown, and also from the breakdown. Along with the peptones, other example of conjugated proteins and derived proteins are metaproteins, proteoses, and peptides. And the last one is fibrin. So in this discussion, we discuss about the two basic type of the proteins. First is the derived proteins. Derived protein is the proteins that obtain from the process of denaturation, conjugation, and the breakdown. And the example are peptones, metaproteins, proteoses, peptides, and the fibrin. The next one is the conjugated proteins are that kind of a protein and the category of a protein in which proteins have non-amino prosthetic group. And the examples are phosphoprotein, lipoprotein, chromoprotein, nucleoprotein, and the glycoprotein. So according to the discussion, the right answer for the question is peptone, because our question is asking which of the following is not a conjugated protein apart or except the peptone, because peptone is a derived protein. All three and the rest of the three are from the conjugated protein as discussed with the example. So option A is the right one in this case. So this is all about the important question from the NEET biology for the chapter Biomolecules. Hope student you like the lecture. Stay tuned with the Misostudy for such more sessions. Thank you very much.